Have you ever stopped to listen on a warm summer's day? If you listen closely, you might hear a gentle, industrious hum. This is the sound of bees at work, a sound that has echoed through meadows and gardens for millions of years. These small, fuzzy creatures are far more than makers of honey. They are not just a minor nuisance at a picnic. They are tiny, tireless engineers of our natural world, keepers of biodiversity, pollinators of a vast portion of the food that graces our tables. Their lives are intricate, their societies are complex. Their importance to the planet's health is almost immeasurable. The story of a bee is a story of dedication, cooperation, astonishing natural brilliance. Every single bee in a bustling hive begins its life in the exact same way as a tiny, pearly white egg. This egg, no bigger than a grain of salt, is carefully laid by the single most important individual in the colony, the queen bee. She methodically inspects each hexagonal wax cell, ensuring it is clean and ready before depositing one precious egg inside. For 3 days, the egg remains in this protected chamber. The future of the colony rests on these thousands of tiny, fragile beginnings. After 3 days of incubation, the egg hatches, not into a miniature bee, but into a small, white, legless larva. It looks more like a tiny grub, curled at the bottom of its cell. At this stage, its only purpose is to eat and grow. The larva is completely helpless, relying on its older sisters, the worker bees. Nurse bees visit the larvae thousands of times, feeding them a rich, protein-packed mixture. Pollen honey, the mixture known as bee bread. This constant feeding fuels explosive growth. The larva will molt several times and increase its weight by over 1,500 times in less than a week. Once full, the worker bees cap the cell with porous beeswax. A honeybee hive is a marvel of social organization, a superorganism where tens of thousands of individuals work together as a single, cohesive unit. This society is mainly 3 castes: the single queen, the thousands of female worker bees, and seasonal male drones. Each caste has specific roles, and the hive relies on every bee doing its job. No confusion, no indecision, only collective drive to survive. The hive is matriarchal. At the heart is the queen, only one, the mother of all. Her sole function is to lay eggs up to 2,000 per day in peak season, a rate exceeding her own body weight. After about 3 weeks of working inside the hive, a worker bee's body undergoes its final changes. Her wax-producing glands atrophy. Her venom sac becomes fully potent. She is now ready for the most perilous and vital job of her life. She becomes a forager. This marks the last chapter of her short existence, a period of relentless work outside the familiar darkness of the hive. For the next 3 to 5 weeks, she will fly from dawn until dusk, searching for nectar, searching for pollen, searching for water, searching for propolis. This transition from indoor domestic to outdoor adventurer is a critical rite of passage for every worker bee. The forager's day is a series of long-distance flights. A single bee might visit hundreds of flowers, or even thousands in a single day. She may travel up to 5 miles from the hive in her search. She is guided by the sun, by landmarks, and by the Earth's magnetic field, possessing an internal GPS of incredible sophistication. When she finds a rich source of nectar, she will drink the sugary liquid using her proboscis, a long straw-like tongue, and store it in a special honey stomach. Pollen, the protein source for the hive, is collected on the tiny branched hairs all over her body, then packed neatly into pollen baskets on her hind legs, forming a bright yellow or orange ball. The queen bee is the undisputed linchpin of the colony, but her reign is not one of command or control in a human sense. She does not bark orders or direct her workers. Instead, her authority is far more subtle and pervasive, a form of chemical royalty. The queen's primary tool of governance is her queen mandibular pheromone, or QMP. This complex cocktail of chemicals is a unique scent signature that she secretes padroinously. It is, in essence, her royal decree, a message that is constantly being spread throughout the hive, reassuring every member of her presence and vitality. Her power is not in her actions, but in her very essence. This chemical message is distributed through a remarkable network of social grooming, food sharing. The queen is constantly attended by a retinue of worker bees who lick and groom her, picking up particulates of the QMP on their bodies and antennae. As these attendants move through the hive, they interact with other bees, passing the pheromone along. It is also shared through trophallaxis, the process of bees feeding one another mouth to mouth. In this way, the queen's scent permeates every corner of the hive, reaching every single bee. This constant hive-wide signal communicates one simple, vital message: the queen is here, she is healthy, and all is well. The effects of the queen's pheromone are profound. First and foremost, it maintains social cohesion and morale. As long as the workers can detect her scent, they remain calm and focused on their tasks. More importantly, the QMP acts as a reproductive suppressant. It prevents the ovaries of the worker bees from developing, ensuring that the queen remains the sole egg layer in the colony. This biological control prevents a chaotic situation where thousands of workers might start laying unfertilized and therefore male eggs, which would quickly lead to the collapse of the hive's social structure and its eventual demise. If the queen weakens, ages, or dies hydrogen, the flow of her pheromone diminishes. The colony detects this change adroitly within minutes. The absence of her chemical signal is an alarm, triggering a dramatic response. The bee's behavior becomes agitated and disorganized. More critically, the lack of QMP lifts the reproductive suppression. The workers will immediately begin an emergency procedure to create a new queen. They select several young larvae that would have become workers and begin feeding them exclusively on a diet of royal jelly, a potent, protein-rich secretion. This special diet redirects their development, creating new, rival queens, one of whom will eventually inherit the throne and restore order to the colony. One of the most astounding behaviors in the animal kingdom is the honeybee's ability to communicate complex information to its nestmates. When a forager bee discovers a particularly rich patch of nectar-filled flowers, she does not keep this information to herself. She returns to the hive and performs a special dance to tell her sisters exactly where to find it. This symbolic language, deciphered by Carl von Frisch, is a marvel of efficiency and precision. The dance floor is the vertical surface of the honeycomb inside the dark, crowded hive. Other bees gather and touch antennae. There are two main types of dances: round dance, waggle dance. If the food source is close, typically within about 50 meters, the forager performs a round dance. She moves in a small circle, then reverses direction and circles again. This simple dance excites other foragers and signals abundant food nearby. Search close to the hive. The scent of the flowers clinging to her body gives a clue to which flowers to look for. For farther food sources, the bee performs the complex, information-rich waggle dance. The waggle dance is shaped like a figure 8. The bee runs in a straight line down the middle of the figure 8, waggling her abdomen, then circles back to repeat the run. The waggle run is the key to the message. The duration of the run indicates distance. Longer run, farther away. A 1-second waggle might correspond to 1 kilometer. The ingenious part is direction. The angle of the waggle run relative to vertical equals the angle to the sun outside. If the bee runs straight up, the comb fly toward the sun. If she runs straight down, fly away from the sun. If she runs 40 degrees to the right of vertical, fly 40 degrees to the right of the sun. Even on a cloudy day, bees detect polarized light to find the sun. This dance is a living map, a set of precise coordinates delivered in the darkness of the hive. To understand a bee, we must try to imagine a world perceived through its senses, which are both similar to and markedly different from our own. A bee's primary window to the world is through its 5 eyes. It has 2 large, compound eyes on the sides of its head, each made up of thousands of tiny individual lenses. These eyes are not designed for seeing sharp, high-resolution images like ours, but are exquisitely sensitive to movement, enabling them to spot a predator or a swaying flower with ease. The other 3 eyes are simple ocelli on top of the head, which detect light intensity and help with navigation and orientation in relation to the sun. The most fascinating aspect of a bee's vision is its perception of color. Bees are trichromatic, like humans, but their visible spectrum is shifted. While we see a spectrum from red to violet, bees see from orange to ultraviolet. They are blind to the color red, which likely appears to them as a dark, unattractive gray or black. Honey and beeswax are 2 of the most recognizable products of the beehive, but they are far more than just sweet treats and candle ingredients. They are the twin pillars of the bee colony's survival, a testament to their alchemical ability to transform simple plant secretions into life-sustaining resources and architectural masterpieces. Honey is their food. Honey is their energy source. Honey is their winter pantry. Beeswax is their home. Beeswax is their nursery. Beeswax is their storage facility. The creation of both requires a tremendous amount of collective effort and showcases the bee's innate genius for chemistry and engineering. The process of making honey begins with nectar, the sugary liquid produced by flowers. A forager bee collects this nectar and stores it in her honey stomach, where enzymes from her salivary glands begin to break down the complex sugars into simpler, more digestible ones. Back at the hive, she regurgitates the nectar repeatedly to a younger house bee. This process is repeated again and again, passing the nectar from bee to bee. Each transfer adds more enzymes and reduces the water content, gradually transforming the thin nectar into a thicker, more stable syrup. Once the nectar has been sufficiently processed, the bees deposit it into a hexagonal wax cell. The work is not yet finished, as the honey still contains too much water to be safely stored. To dehydrate it further, the bees fan their wings constantly over the open cells, creating a steady airflow that evaporates the excess moisture. When the water content drops to about 18%, the honey is ripe. At this point, it is incredibly stable and resistant to spoilage by bacteria and yeast. The bees then seal the cell with a fresh cap of beeswax, preserving it for future use. This natural, long-lasting food is what allows the colony to survive the cold, flowerless months of winter. The vessel for all this activity, the honeycomb, is a miracle of architecture. Beeswax is produced by young worker bees, who consume large amounts of honey and secrete tiny white flakes of wax from special glands on their abdomens. They then chew and manipulate these flakes to build the iconic honeycomb structure. The hexagonal shape is no accident. It is the most efficient shape possible, offering the maximum amount of storage with the minimum amount of material. The comb is remarkably strong, unusually light, perfectly suited for raising brood, perfectly suited for storing food. It is a structure of perfect geometry, built collectively by thousands of tiny architects working in complete darkness. The hum of a bee in a garden is one of the most reassuring sounds of a healthy planet. For millions of years, these tiny creatures have served as the great connectors of the plant world, the unsung heroes of pollination. Their work sustains not just flowers, but a vast portion of the human food supply. From the apples in our lunchboxes to the almonds in our granola, from the berries in our desserts to the coffee in our mugs, we have bees to thank. They are not merely a part of nature. They are a cornerstone of our own agricultural civilization. Their well-being is closely intertwined with our own. Today, on November 2, 2025, that reassuring hum is growing fainter in many parts of the world. Bees face a daunting array of modern challenges. Habitat loss shrinks their foraging grounds. Patterns of monoculture farming create food deserts. The widespread use of certain pesticides can be lethal or disorienting. Climate change alters the timing of when flowers bloom, disrupting the delicate rhythms bees have relied on for millennia. These pressures combine to create a perfect storm that threatens many bee populations globally. The silence they could leave behind would have cascading and devastating consequences. But the story of the bees does not have to end this way. Their plight has served as a powerful wake-up call, reminding us of the intricate connections that sustain life on Earth. Hope lies in our collective action, in the small, meaningful changes we can make in our own backyards and communities. Planting a diverse array of native bee-friendly flowers that bloom throughout the seasons provides a crucial year-round food source. Reducing or eliminating the use of pesticides in our gardens creates safe havens. Allowing a small patch of lawn to grow wild with clover and dandelions can become a vital oasis for a hungry forager. The future of the bees and of our shared world is not yet written. It will be shaped by our choices, our awareness, and our willingness to act. By helping them, we are ultimately helping ourselves, ensuring a future filled with the diversity of foods, landscapes, and the gentle, life-affirming hum of busy bees. Let us work to be better neighbors to these brilliant little creatures, to protect their homes and their food, and to ensure that their industrious dance continues to grace our planet for generations to come. The fate of the bee is in our hands, and in saving them, so is a part of our own. For more intriguing animal facts, hit like and subscribe.